Number 9, we are going to do y minus y1, x minus x1. The y's are second coordinates here. And I'm going to pick any numbers. I'm going to pick the zeros. So we can do 0 minus negative 3, and then 0 minus 2. Subtracting a negative would be an addition. So you would have 3 over negative 2. If you chose to do that in the opposite direction, and you did negative 3 minus 0 and 2 minus 0, you would have negative 3 over 2. And these numbers, 3 over negative 2 and negative 3 over 2, those numbers are the same. So it doesn't matter which x or which y you start with. Whichever y you start with, you have to start with that x. Number 10, y minus y. I'm going to start with this y just because it's the bigger one. 7, subtract a negative 3. 6, subtract 6. When you zip zap that, you have 10 over 0. Dividing by 0 is undefined. And so that slope is undefined. I don't care if you want to say undefined, no slope, or empty set.
Is it okay to have negative 10 over 10? Because I did negative 3 minus 7 and then 6 minus
That's
7.
fine. That's fine. Number 11. Now we have to find the slope from our picture. We have 0, 2, and negative 2, negative 2. So I'm going to do 2, subtract a negative 2. 0, subtract a negative 2. And when you zip zap each of those, you will have 4 over 2, which is 2. We did y minus y, x minus x. Number 12, y minus y, x minus x. 8 minus 8, 3 minus negative 4. And you end up with 0 over 7, which will be a slope of 0. And if you did that the other way around and you did negative 4 minus 3, you would have a negative 7 right here. 0 divided by negative 7 is still 0. Question 13 is a story problem. The graph shows the average electricity cost in dollars for operating a refrigerator for several months. Find the slope of the line. So we need to do y minus y, x minus x. And I am going to do 24 minus 12 over 4 minus 2, which ends up being 12 over 2, for a final answer of 6. So the slope of that line is 6. And now we need to say, what does that slope represent? Does that represent candies per hour, problems per page, dollars per month? What does that represent? And in this case, we have cost and we have time. So that represents $6 per month that they are paying to run their refrigerator. $6 per month. Point slope form is our next equation of a line. And this is new. Y minus y star equals m times x minus x star. And I will tell you those stars are my formula. A book will tell you y minus y1, m, x minus x1. And I like to put those little stars there because that reminds you where you substitute the numbers in. And we'll do that in just a minute. This is called point slope form because these two with the stars on them. If you put those together, those give you a point, and this M right here gives you a slope. So if you have an equation in this form, you can get a point and a slope from it. Or the opposite of that, if we have a point and a slope, which we do in number 14, we can write the equation of a line. So we're going to start out y minus y star equals m times x minus x star. And I'm always going to start these out as y minus and then x minus. And from there we just need to fill in those three numbers. First thing they give us is the slope, and that goes right over here. That's the slope. And then whatever point they give us, we put the x over here by the x and the y over here by the y. So our x was a 1/2. It's going to go right there. Our y was a 1, so it's going to go right there. And that is the equation of your line.
Y is a 1, then wouldn't that be a 1?
It's going to go in just for that second number, where that star is.
Okay.
Okay? And remember, the first one's always the toughest. Let's look at the second one. Again, here's our equation. Y minus y star, that's where we're going to put one of the numbers, equals m times x minus x star. That's where we're going to put one of the numbers. So those stars tell us where our numbers go. And I always start these out by writing y minus and x minus. And now we have three numbers that we can put in there. First of all, the slope. Slope is 0. So that's going to go right here. Our point is 3, -4. The 3 is the x. So it's going to go over here by the x. And the -4 is going to go right here. And we can clean this up. Subtracting a negative is the same as adding. So our equation would be y plus 4 equals 0 times x minus 3. The next four examples are very, very similar. They've added one step. This time they didn't give us the slope, so we have to figure that out first. Slope is y minus y1 over x minus x1. So subtract your y's, subtract your x's. If you subtract your y's, 2 subtract a -4, 3 subtract a 1. When you zip-zap that, your slope ends up being 6 over 2, which is 3. And now you can pick either one of these points. Doesn't matter which one. I'm going to pick the 3, 2, simply because those don't have any negatives in there. And to write our equation then, we will have y minus something equals our slope, which is 3, times x minus something. Now we need to put the numbers in there. This is the x, so this is going to go over here. And this is the y, so that's going to go over there. And if you wanted to put the other x and y in, that would be fine. This one would be y, and x minus would be x minus 1. And then over here you would have subtract a -4, which becomes an addition. 17, again, we need to figure out our slope. Y minus y, x minus x. 7 minus 5 over 4 minus 0. That becomes a 2 over 4, which is 1/2. And now you can pick either of those points. And I'm actually going to do both of them. Our slope is 1/2, so we're going to put that in there. Our first point is 4, 7. The 4 goes along with the x. The 7 goes along with the y. So you could have y minus 7 equals 1/2 x minus 4. Or the other one could be y minus, well, the 0 would go over here, and the 5 would go over here. So that would be y minus 5 equals 1/2 x minus 0. If you graphed those two equations, they would end up being the exact same line. Even though the numbers are a little bit different, they still end up being the exact same line. 18 and 19 are two special cases. If you look at this one, and we do 3 subtract a -1, 4 subtract 4, you would get 4 over 0. And so in this case, our slope is undefined. If our slope is undefined, that means this is a vertical line, goes straight up and down. And make sure you write this somewhere in your notes. If you have a vertical line, the equation of that line is x equals something. And I'm just going to put a big box there. X equals something is a vertical line. And if you look right here, x is 4, x is 4, that is the equation of your line. X equals 4. Number 19, when we do our slope, 5 minus 5, 0 minus a -8. This ends up being 0 over 8, which has a slope of 0. If a line has a slope of 0, it is a horizontal line like this. Make sure you get this in your notes somewhere. A horizontal line has an equation, y equals something. You have to put some sort of number in there. And as you look at this one, that becomes y equals 5. Since both of those are 5, it's y equals 5. Vertical line is x equals. Horizontal line is y equals.